Hey guys, welcome to Brickstars. Today we've got an interesting video for you guys. We're going to be looking at a potential re-release of the Dragon Masters theme from the 1990s. So what we've done in this video today is we're going to be taking a look at the theme from the 90s, some of the sets, the minifigures, the design elements, and then we're going to dive into our remake and modernization of the theme. Here's a quick look at our updated logo shield for this theme. So if it was released in 2023, this is kind of what we'd expect to see. Some of you may recognize the dragon silhouette here from this year's Harry Potter Gringotts Bank release. So we thought LEGO did a great job of showcasing the 90s dragon in that icon, and we've used it ourselves here. So the whole reason we're doing this video is because this year LEGO released this gift with purchase 40601 Magisto's Magical Workshop, and this inspired us to take a look at the Dragon Masters theme and what we could potentially do to update it. As you can see, this set is actually an update from Magisto's original workshop from the 90s, and we'll leave our comments about the set for another video, but in general the box art, theme, colors, everything is very similar and true to the original, and the minifigures included are also very similar. So Magisto's wearing blue, and you can see they've introduced a updated print of the Dragon Master's torso. So we like to speculate that hopefully the Dragon Masters are going to make more than just the appearance in this set, and maybe in 2024 we will see them appear in other sets, such as the rumored Medieval Village remake. And so here's the look at what we were discussing, Magisto's Magical Workshop. So very similar and true to the original. And these are a couple other sets from the theme, some of the bigger ones. So this wave actually featured, I want to say, probably 8 to 10 sets. These were, I think, the biggest of the bunch. And what's really cool about these sets is obviously the artwork is awesome. The red and orange sky and the mountains, but the detailed elements that this wave featured. So we're gonna get into more details later, but you can see already here they had this flag with the dragon on it. They had their shield. They had these feather plume elements. Of course, Magisto's detailed scroll, the dragon piece, lots of cool elements in this theme. And they had a couple different torsos, a couple different dragons. So we tried to stay true to that with our update. And their focus really was on green and red with yellow as the colors. But you can see on the torsos they've used red and black with blue arms, something that we're going to try and stay true to as well. So the first thing we wanted to do before we redesigned the Dragon Masters was to look at what they had already. So LEGO put a lot of effort back in the day into designing these, and I mean nowadays they would probably just do one element and have that on a shield, have that on the torso, have that on the logo. But you can see here they've got a couple elements. So the actual logo for the theme was one logo. The main logo on their shields was this upright looking dragon. On the flag they used a different rendering of the dragon, and again both have red and green as the colors. And then on the torsos they had, I believe, 3 different torsos. The first one featured a simple black shield with a dragon face. The other one, which is the one that LEGO used in the updated torso themselves features what looks to be a dancing dragon, very awkward and funny looking, but pretty cool nonetheless. And then the final one is again the dragon's head. This time it's basically kind of day and night style. It's got a light version and a dark version, and then the flames coming out of the nostrils. So cool design elements that they used back in the day, and we found inspiration in these elements and tried to modernize them for 2024. So here is the famous cast from the early 90s. Again, the theme was around, I think, from 1993 to 1995. Featured obviously some very colorful figures. I'm a big fan of these old school faces, and of course the famous Magisto. He was, I mean, probably the leader of the Dragon Masters. Perhaps he was the ultimate Dragon Master. But you can see he features beautiful blue torso, very simple print that also showed up on a green forestman, and his co-conspirators, or whatever you want to call them, they featured predominantly red torsos. And you can see this guy here, he was probably the simplest of the bunch, just a red torso with the shield, whereas the main leader of the knights had a more detailed torso, and one that again had that double-faced dragon and alternating red and black torso. And he actually featured a very detailed cape along with his plumes. And then of course his trusty sidekick featured the dancing dragon. That this is the torso that Lego remade. So some very cool prints, especially for that period. One thing I always loved about this figure, and I have him in my collection, is the simplicity Lego used to kind of make figures unique. So simply putting one arm blue, one arm black, one leg blue, one leg black made this figure more unique than any figure at that time. And even to this day, he kind of stands out as a pretty iconic minifigure. So really great looking bunch here. And now let's have a look at one more thing before we jump into our update. So one thing we found interesting with the Dragon Masters is they were actually using elements, especially on the shield, from the Dark Knights, who I believe came a couple years prior to the Dragon Masters. So you can see here we've rendered the shields that the Dark Knights had. And again, they featured a yellow background but with a blue and red dragon. And oddly enough, their box art featured a similar colored, similar color palette for the shield, where the background was yellow and the dragon was blue with red wings. But the shield that they had for the Dark Knights was actually a red background, which is kind of weird. I prefer the yellow background. I think the color balance works nicer, but this is what they used. And so for the Dragon Masters, they simply recolored the blue to green, but they never released a triangle version of the shield. So what we've done here is we've kind of speculated what that would look like, and just staying true to the colors of their shield, which was yellow with the green. It's really a shame that they'd never released this shield, because I do really like the colors of this one. So, but yeah, we just wanted to point out that these elements appeared before and they've carried over. So I don't know if, I mean, they're somehow related or what, but they do use similar heraldry. What we have here is several concepts that we worked on when we were redesigning the Dragon Masters. So we knew we wanted to use an updated silhouette of the dragon, again inspired by the artwork that Lego created, but we made some modifications. So we knew what would look better on a shield to kind of tighten up the wings, and the flame almost added too much complexity to it. And although we do love the green, red, and yellow colors, we wanted to stay a little bit true to Lego's update, which appeared to lean more towards gold, like a flat gold instead of a yellow. So less cartoony and probably arguably more realistic in the sense that these are kind of colors knights would have. And then we really wanted to create an identity that showed off the two-tone red and black of the Dragon Masters. So we worked through several concepts. You can see here at the top some elements, some different attempts at shields, and ultimately on the next slide you'll see what we ended up with. But this is truly a fraction of the designs we made. We probably had 50 to 60 different dragons drawn up and different versions of the shields until we lined up with something that we're happy with. And so here is our, I would say, dream lineup. Reason I say dream is Lego would probably only release one shield and not, what do I have here, 5 or 6 different shields. But if we're gonna dream, we may as well dream big. So that's what we've got here. The first shield, we did stay true to the original dragon with updated colors. So we darkened the green, we introduced the gold, and we think that dragon looks pretty good and it fills the full shield. You can see we do have a version here with just the head and the wings, but I don't think it looks as good as this one beside it. So if you guys have other ideas, by the way, please comment. One thing is maybe introducing the red and black on this shield. So yeah, give us your ideas and we can include them in a future update. But we are really happy with how these 4 shields worked out. The dragon tends to fit the shield a lot more in these ones, and having the one here at the end with the pop of green works really well. So we were imagining that some of these shields would be used in battle, some would be used by their archers, and some would be used probably in Magisto's hideout above a fireplace or something. And the elements down here are really elements we included on the different torsos that you're going to see in a minute. So we wanted to keep these ones simple. They're really just black and gold, and they feature the elements from the shield, and they also draw inspiration from the two-tone dragon faces that we discussed previously. So this one in the middle, which we plan on featuring on our main knight, features that dual two-toned element. And then the other small elements on the side here are really just recolors of the original shields that were on the torsos, and you'll see we've included those on the new torsos, but at a very small capacity, just to give a little nod to the original designers and symbolism of the theme. So this one's a bit more updated to include the two-tone red and black. We wanted to standardize it a bit. They had a lot of colors in the original theme, so we're hoping that if a Dragon Masters theme gets re-released, it would have some consistent branding, and they would use the red, the black, touches of gold, and occasionally a speckle of the dark green. And so here it is. After all that, looking at the past and discussing our elements, here's what we think the Dragon Masters could potentially look like in 2024. I think these guys look pretty mean. So we've tried to stay true to the colors. We've tried to stay true to the Lego design. Some of these torso elements were inspired by previous castle themes, so we either took chainmail or the best breastplates or the chains from other minifigures, and then did some recoloring, did some edits, and this is what we've come up with. So going from left to right here, the first minifigure that we designed was kind of intended to be the old wise advisor of sorts. Not to be confused with Magisto. We have updated Magisto, and we'll have another video where we discuss him separately, but this guy was really more so kind of a wise guy that would advise them on battle, and so he's dressed for battle, and he's got a lot of wisdom. The next minifigure here was intended to be kind of the basic Dragon Master Knight, very similar to what Lego's done with the Black Falcons, what they've done with the Lion Knights. Very simple torso with the new shield, the colors, and again using the blue arms to stay true to the original Dragon Master. This guy, probably my personal favorite of the bunch. So he's got some heavy duty armor, and you can see he has the two-tone dragon on the chest, and his belt buckle is the original Dragon Master's emblem. And some of you may recognize we've reused the printing from the Lion Knights, but we've recolored the legs. So again, he has mismatched blue, black, and red. How realistic that is, we don't know, but the original figure was pretty iconic. We felt we had to do that. And this cape is actually from the orc from the collectible minifigures wave. So we thought this worked really well. It's ripped up, whether through battle, whether through getting burned by a dragon, who knows. And the original minifigure did feature reddish orange beard and hair, so this guy looks a bit meaner, but looks very true to the original, we think. And next up is the trusty Dragon Master's Knight. So he's fully in armor, chainmail, very simple printing, but you can clearly tell who he pledges his allegiance to. So the red and the black with the dragon. And again, for most of these, we kept the dragons pretty simple. So black and gold, not any of the green, not any of the yellow. And again, his belt buckle features the original Dragon Master's emblem. And again, we tried to kind of play with the colors a bit. So we have black and red here. Here we do red and black. It contrasts a little bit, and we think that turned out pretty good. And finally, just another potentially archer or swordsman. So very similar to this guy on the left. This guy features a little bit more armor, a slightly bigger dragon, and again, the blue arms. So that's our take at least the first wave of Dragon Masters. Maybe in the future we'll add more torsos, more minifigures. Again, we look forward to what you guys put in the comments and implementing some of your suggestions in future designs. So we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope you have an appreciation for the original 90s theme that we think was great, and hopefully we can see more castle themes in the future, more castle sets in the future. And this is kind of our interpretation of what we hope to see if the Dragon Masters made a return in 2024. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and see you guys next time.